We fed families this Thanksgiving. Today's the big day.
I hope everyone just knocks and just does everything, doesn't deliver food to the wrong house. Hey, is everything going good, man? Because we have a mix-up. The people are saying you're at the wrong location.
So I really bless you guys and thank you guys for what you guys are doing. You know what I mean?
It's our duty, you know?
I would start with children, because they don't deserve to grow up so quick.
You know, look at you guys randomly coming to our door.
Thank you for everything. God bless you. I love you.
So I've completely cut ties with my family for a little over 4.5 years now. And when I say family, I don't mean immediate, like my mother, my father, things of that nature. I mean cousins, nieces, nephews, uncles, aunts. I've completely cut ties with them. As a matter of fact, I believe my grandmother just died 2 weeks ago, and I didn't go to the funeral. I don't care. But before you think I'm some sort of cold-blooded, selfish, terrible human, I'll give you a reason and a little bit of context as to why I made this decision and 5 things I've learned from just cutting ties with them completely. So, a little bit of context. I come from a Vietnamese household, and so in my culture, we're really big on family, right? Come together and eat together and this, because family is all we had. I mean, all the aunts and all the uncles, they came from Vietnam, here, had babies, had us, the little ones, and they just want to see us carry on that tradition. So to a degree, I understand why they had such a high, or they put such a high importance on be there for your family. I never liked that programming, nor did I ever like that idea or concept that was forced upon me and taught to me, because what that means is, despite how this person behaves, so long as they are related by blood, you are obligated to do something for them. And in reverse, no matter how you are, they are obligated to do something for you, which is a complete, 1, burden, and 2, it's you're not authentic because you don't want to help, you have to help. And I'd argue that's not authenticity. If you feel like you have to do something as opposed to just wanting to do something, you are not your most authentic self. So when I was younger, I always got compared to a bigger cousin of mine. There was a year gap. He's 1 year older than me. And I was the skinny kid with a messed up household, and my family, my immediate family problems got brought into the family, and everyone pitied me and felt bad for me. All the aunts and uncles would just slip me money when they saw me, like, give money to him. Why aren't you giving money to my other cousin, right? So I always got compared because I was this really skinny kid with a bunch of acne and didn't really know what to do with his life. And he was this high school mega star, super cool, and he graduated and went to a big fancy college now. He probably has some freaking consulting job where he's making money. And I was the kid that was smoking, was drinking, didn't know what to do, was messed up in school, had a bunch of acne, was skinny as heck, left high school, joined the military, didn't go to school. I didn't go to school. And so the constant comparison always pissed me off as a kid, because even my parents would make the comparison. And I mean, hey, I don't take it the wrong way now because I guess I've had time and I'm older now. But hey, I mean, can you blame the 16-year-old for getting offended? I mean, especially when his own parents make the comparison. I was 16 for crying out loud. 14, 15. Of course my feelings are going to get hurt. I don't have the intelligence and the wisdom that I have now. So I was extremely upset. That's one. So me breaking off to the military was almost like a relief. I didn't have to be there for Christmas. I didn't have to be there for Thanksgiving. I didn't have to see the people that I didn't want to be around. Like, I don't want to be around you. I don't know where, in what book, in what crazy universe there is this hidden law and indoctrinated rule that you have to be there for family. I have no idea what that means, because it makes no sense to me. Because if we take the approach of family being directly related by blood, the genetic makeup, why do I have to help you? Or why do you have to help me? And why should we care about each other? I didn't grow up with you. You didn't grow up with me. I barely know you, and you barely know me. It's almost like caring for a stranger, which is fine. I'm big on love, okay? So like I like loving people. I like helping people, but I don't feel the need to unnecessarily want to love someone, especially my family. I just don't care enough. So, I leave to the military, I branch off. And I mean, in the military, I felt like finally I was doing something big because I believe I'm like the first one in the entire bloodline to do that. Everyone else just went off to school, went to college, yay, hey, boo hoo, got a big consulting job, some type of job, and now they're making six figures. Like, congratulations. I'll pass. Plus, we just didn't have the damn money. There was no way I was going to put my mother through thousands and thousands of dollars of financial debt just so I could get a piece of paper that signifies, congratulations, you're good at following orders. Way to go and go live in the world and work a job the rest of your life. I'm good. And we're always going to campaign for the thing that we've been through. I had a discussion with my brother. I have a half brother. Father had 2 wives. A while back. And I asked him a question, him and his wife. I said, hey, if your little one wanted to be an entrepreneur and there was a guarantee he would succeed, what would you do? And they said, no, he's still going to school. And it baffled me, but I get it because we're always going to campaign for the thing that we've done. I'm going to campaign for not going to school. I'm going to campaign for taking the risk, hitting rock bottom, wanting to put a freaking bullet through your head so that you can try to make it. I'm going to campaign for growing the damn balls to jump in the water when no one else will. I will campaign for that. They went to school. They're going to campaign for that. And I understand that. I don't need to see how you see the world. I don't need to see the world how you see the world. And I definitely don't care if you see the world how I see the world. Otherwise, there would be nothing special about us. So you stay in your bubble, and I'll stay over here because I don't want any part of that. At all. It blew my mind. I was almost so angry because there is nothing more restrictive than wanting your child to do something. Let your child go. Now, I can't really put my ones and twos because I've yet to have a child, but I'm assuming that children teach you. You don't necessarily teach them. And I mean, that baffled me too, right? But in the military, I came back a few times. I came back once, and I purposely chose not to go home for years so that I could have time away, find myself, figure out what the heck this was, what type of human this is. So I needed time away from my family just to find myself. I think it was 2.5 years I didn't see my family. Then I finally came back. And I told myself I don't want to see them, but I chose to see them, and I made that decision for my father's sake. So I'm here at grandma's house, and thank goodness not everyone's around. I only have like 2 cousins and maybe a few aunts and uncles. Thank goodness it wasn't the whole family. Because I don't want to answer your questions about how it's been. You don't need to know about my business. You don't deserve to. Mind your own. One of my aunts start asking me questions. Well, what do you plan on doing now that you're out? And I said, I don't know, I'll figure it out. That's usually my answer. I can look at someone and judge whether or not I should tell them things that are precious to me. I'm not completely private, but you guys know I share a lot of my story here on YouTube because you guys are precious to me. Though we don't know each other, because you guys are someone that listens to listen. Beyond that, maybe I could inspire you. With family, they don't give a damn. They're not going to get inspired by my story. And 2, they definitely don't give a damn to understand me. They want to listen and give me advice that I didn't ask for, as if it's their life. And I'm completely open-minded to receiving input. But I made a decision, and I refuse to listen or ask advice from anyone that doesn't want that doesn't really have my best interests. And they're not out for my best interests. If they don't truly care about me, I don't want your advice, nor would I share anything with you. And I have a few frameworks to judge whether a person is someone that I should share things with. And I have a few frameworks that allow me to say, well, I'll push you off to the side. You don't need to know anything about me. So my aunt asked me the question, and I go, well, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. One way or another, maybe something. I don't know, business, sure. Well, she was like, well, no, what do you want to do? And she kept pushing it. And I was really annoyed. I said, okay, here's the shot in the dark. Here we go. I said, I have no idea. I just know by 24, I want to make it and somehow retire my mother and be some type of millionaire. She's like, no, impossible. Hey, I don't blame her. It probably took her 25 years to do that. I don't blame her. She probably was like 40 when she hit $500,000. I don't know. And quite frankly, I don't care anymore. But back then I was really angry. I said, what? She's like, impossible. Sounds like a dream. You know, your father used to dream, and I got so mad because my father was, I guess we can say not the screw up of the family, but he was the one that had the broken marriages. He was the one that didn't have the money. Everyone knew him because he wasn't stable and this and this and this and this. He didn't really end up being the poster father of prosperity. And I was so angry. I said, my dreams remind you of my father who couldn't provide for neither one of his families? What are you trying to say? And I was so angry. Obviously now I'm much older, and I don't blame them. You can't be upset at a child for acting like a child, nor can you be upset at ignorant people for not knowing what they don't know. She doesn't know that possibility is out here. Now, to a degree, was she right? Yeah, I'm 24 and I'm not a millionaire yet. And for a long time, I was like, I'm going to prove her wrong. And then I got to a point where I said, well, my constant anger means she is my master. Why am I angry? Why am I doing this? To prove her wrong? So imagine me becoming a millionaire, going back to my aunt and saying, I proved you wrong. How silly. This whole time it wasn't for me, my future family, but it was to prove her wrong. And I felt that way with my father, my brother, everyone. I was so angry at their lack of support at one time. In the military, I left. I said, I can't stand this anymore. I'm done scrubbing toilets. I'm not going to climb this corporate military ladder and rank up and retire at 38. Screw security. I'd rather shoot myself in the brain. Screw that. And I told my parents, my mother, my father, and my brother that I was leaving. Those were like the three people that I cared about at the time. All their responses were the same. I don't blame my mother. I don't blame my father, nor do I blame my brother for their inability to communicate. I understand them. Maybe them truly wanting what's best for me is not seeing me fall. But then let's say you're God and you're tasked to make a human strong, competent, and capable. Would you give them an easy life, full of security and certainty? Probably not. You'd probably give them challenges to overcome, difficulties, hills to climb over. And so they didn't understand that concept. My mother and my father, I easily understood them because they're first generation Vietnamese and they came here with nothing and they built themselves from nothing, and all they think is, at that time, all they thought was school, degree, job, good. My brother was something that really affected me. And to this day, it still does. And I've created my distance between me and him on purpose. You could say I'm self-centered. You could say I'm in my little bubble. You could say I'm arrogant. You could say the world doesn't revolve around. Yeah, you might be right. I don't disagree. But my brother he was so adamant on me staying in. There are so many benefits. Screw the benefits. Screw it. And I couldn't be mad at him. Not now. Because it's not his fault that he can't grasp the dream I have. To him, it's a dream. To me, I'm already on the path. Screw the dream. It's attainable. I see it. So when I left the military and I was so sick of it, I wanted more for my life. I didn't have the support that I needed at the time. At the time, I really needed it. Like I really did. I needed my mother, father, and brother to just cheer me up and believe in me, because there was a fragment of myself that didn't really believe in myself. I thought I was gonna fail, that I was gonna be destined for nothing. And so at the time, I was dependent on their belief in me, and it wasn't available at all. There was one person that did believe in me, and that was my best friend at the time. His name is Adrian, and I told him about these dreams, and he's an entrepreneur. He's made it, and he was doing his thing. I told him how I wanted to leave, and he was the one person that said, bro, you can do it, leave. You're destined for so much more, you got this. Because my dream to him was, bro, me too. I dreamed that too. And I mean, I look at my father, my mother, and my brother's life, and I'm like, if it makes sense. It makes sense. I don't want that life. I don't want to live like them. I don't want to grow old like them. No, thank you. There is nothing about that I want to adopt. And this isn't me throwing a shot at my family, but this is me being honest. So I left the military with no support. Everyone was like, stay for the benefits, stay, oh my gosh. The VA loan, you'll get such a great percentage on a house. I want to buy $1 million house cash. Screw you and your damn benefits. Like, screw you and your inability to grasp the dream. I was so angry. I mean, hey, what 20-year-old wouldn't be angry, right? I'm 20 at the time. I was so angry. Anger fueled me for so many years. You add that on top of what my aunt said to me, and it was just, I hated it. I hated it. And so, well, I split, right? And what happens is I start scrubbing toilets. Way to prove your family right. I started scrubbing toilets at the gym, learn how to sell. And I will always campaign for a sales job. Again, we're always going to campaign for what we've done, right? My brother and his wife will campaign for going to school and being a slave. I will campaign for taking the risks no one else will and growing the balls that no one else has in order to achieve something that everyone thinks is unattainable. That's me. Because to me, it's not a fixed dream. To me, it's not fantasy. To me, it's reality. Sorry that you can't comprehend it. It's an ignorance problem. Stay over there. Stay ignorant. I don't want any of that. No thanks. So I get a gym job and I'm scrubbing toilets. And I transition to becoming a sales representative. That was my first introduction to sales. I always campaign for it because sales is the best job for you to get used to what it feels like to be rejected. In this world, you're going to get rejected. You're going to get let down. Right? Beyond that, it really teaches you how to talk, how to navigate a conversation, how to influence. You develop the ability and the power of influence, which I think is magnificent. If you have the ability to influence, if you have the power to, you can do almost anything because you can influence people to believe what you believe, to do whatever you want to do. And that's where I got my introduction into sales. Crunch Fitness. I get relatively good at sales. And what happens is I called my friend at the time who was running an e-commerce business where he just private labeled his own products. I said, hey, I got an idea. I said, how far do you want to take this business? He said, I want to take it to the moon, this and this. I said, okay, I got an idea for you, man. I said, can you afford to pay me minimum wage right now? Like, do you have that? He was like, yeah, I do. I don't think I want to, though. I mean, I could just do everything myself. What can you do? I said, well, I know how to sell. I got an idea. Right? So we came and we sat down, we talked a strategy, and we said, okay, here's the game plan. You handle the marketing. I handle the sales. I'll handle distribution. You handle marketing. So get e-commerce sales to increase. I will create another source of income by means of distribution. I mean, we didn't do something right with the numbers. I guess we should have been a little bit more technical and really broke down the numbers, but we didn't do that. And everything I ended up selling through distribution, all the distributors we ended up bringing on, almost seemed like it did us more harm than good. And it's because I'm pretty sure it's because we didn't break the numbers down to the T, to where we didn't really profit. The margin significantly decreased. So what I did was, that's when I started representing the brand. And I would sit in an office all day and cold call because we had products. We needed these products to get into supply stores. We had nail products. We needed these products to get into supply stores. So I would just do a bunch of cold calls and we ended up closing deals. But once my face got recognized in that industry and I was popping up everywhere, that's when I grew my personal brand too. That's when I saw, well, maybe I can do something with a personal brand. People seem to like me and my persona. Maybe I can do something. And so family members saw the growth. And I don't define, nor do I base my value on the amount of followers and subscribers I have. I used to. I don't do that anymore. I just want to be able to look in the mirror and know that I gave it all I have. Back then it was, how many followers do I have? I can't wait to impress my this and this and this. Now it's just, can I look in the mirror and not be ashamed of what I see? But back then, all my family members knew it. And I remember I went to a family party. It was my brother's son's first birthday, I believe. And he invited the entire family. I didn't know. And he knew how I felt. And I'm like, whatever, I'll do it for you and I'll do it for the little one. Here comes everybody. And they're like, oh, I see you doing big things. One of my cousins, the older one that I told you about that everyone compared me and him to. Everyone compared me to him. I ran into him. And he was like, what's up, Mr. Big Shot? Mr. Big Motivational Speaker now, huh? I wanted to slap him across his damn face. At that moment, I wanted to slap him so hard into the pavement. But I just stepped back. I said, yep. I said, yeah, something like that, man. What's up? How you been? He's like, oh, yeah, I'm doing good, man. I just graduated Berkeley. Oh, congratulations. I don't care. Like, in my head, I'm like, I don't care. But the persona said, wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I got a nice job at a bank. I'm making well over 6 figures. I'm like, awesome, bro. Like, that's magnificent. I don't care. And I never did. Like, I truly never did. So, across the past 2 years, I've just added more reasons to not connect with family. I'll even speak about my brother, and I don't really care to anymore. I used to, I'm like, oh, that's my blood brother. I don't care. There was a moment in time where I would have a conversation with him, and I'm like, I'm doing big things, bro. And it's because I wanted to share the good news with them, right? I'm like, hey, I'm feeding families for Thanksgiving, bro. And his immediate response wasn't, oh, that's super cool, congratulations. He said, oh, yeah, that's cool, man. Yeah, you know, when I was your age, me and all my boys, we did the same thing for Christmas. Like, almost as though it's like, hey, I've done it too. No need to brag, little bro, big entrepreneur. I may be receiving the message wrong. I mean, hey, I'm 24. I have room to make mistakes. I'm sure I sound arrogant and self-centered. I'm definitely not going to deny that fact, but I didn't like that response. And from my own brother, I'm like, well, that's really annoying. And he had the nerve to say, well, whatever you do, I just know I've always believed in you. I'm like, sure. Yeah, belief with fear. So I've kept all of this in my head. I've never forgot about it. And I choose not to see them. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick by this for a very long time. And I'm highly positive that even if my family members die, I won't be sad. Like, if my father dies, I won't be sad. Me and him never had a good relationship. He let us down. My mother, on the other hand, that woman's in my heart. That's the definition of unconditional love. Cousins die, I don't care. You're a stranger to me. There is no, find me a book that says you have to feel deep emotions for family members. Like, find me that book. Tell me, show me. I didn't grow up with you. I don't know you. You don't know me. I don't have to care about you. So after cutting ties with my family, that was a little bit of context, but these are 5 things I've learned. 1, family members don't really care about you. It's an obligation. They feel obligated. If I was dead, broke, needed help, and went to crash on a couch, they're there for me because you're family. I always got you. Not, I care about you. How can I help? Hey, you want to borrow money? I'd love to see one of my family members lend me $25,000 because I needed it. And they have it. I'd love to see it. I would love to. I'd love to see them take risks to help me succeed. I'd love to see them sacrifice themselves for me because I would do that for them. That's what I do for people I love, for people I truly care about. I would bend my neck, cut my arms off, crack my knees, rip my heart out. I would do everything for you. Everything. Complete loyalty. So I've come to notice that family members don't necessarily care about you, but they feel obligated to help. Not because they want to, but they feel like they have to. And that's not authentic to me. And I don't need that. I'm good. So that's one. Two, I've also realized that family members will always talk smack. I guarantee you, if some of the things that if some of my family members were to say the things they said behind my back to my face, it would just enhance the reason as to why I should not see them or have them in my life. And I believe that in friendships and relationships. Ask yourself, how many people would you be close to if everything you said behind their back was publicized? Probably not a lot. That's why I say these things and I talk about my family in this manner, because I don't have a relationship with them. I'm not fake. I don't call them because I honestly don't care. And I'm not going to act like I care. I don't. I really don't. I truly don't. Because I choose to give meaning to things that are meaningful to me. And that's truly helped me in my life. I give meaning to work. I give meaning to squeezing every drip of potential out of me for the sake of my future family. I don't give meaning to a Thanksgiving dinner surrounded by a bunch of people that are related to me by blood and having conversations that I don't want to have. I could care less. You can waste your time and do it. Maybe it's not a waste of time to you, but to me it is. I'd rather read than be around you. But two is family members will always talk. They'll always talk. And they don't have the right, which annoys me even more, because if you're going to talk, be better than that person. And 9 times out of 10, you'll never find anyone doing better than you talking like smack about you. You'll never find someone winning talking down on anybody. They're too busy winning. The only hate only comes from below. Judgment only comes from below. People that are under you, that have things to say about you in hopes that they can pull you down to their mediocrity. Mediocrity will try with every ounce of strength it has to pull you back into that bubble of mediocrity. Mediocrity will pull exceptional down with all of its might, will try at least. And that's what I've seen. So I step away from anything that I think is mediocre. And to me, mediocre is having the inability to take risks. If you don't have that, you are mediocre by definition, because averaging every human in this world, the percentage of people that will jump in the water no matter what with both feet, despite knowing how deep it is, as opposed to the people that just stare at the water and say, maybe one day, it's a significant difference. Anyone that fits into here, full of fear of taking a risk, fear of doing something, fear of pulling their dream into reality, I define as mediocre and average, because a lot of people in the world do this. I'd argue more than 75% of the world. So by definition, that is mediocrity to me. And family members do that. Goodbye. No thank you. I don't want to be around you. 3, family thinks that you have to care about what they care about. It's so annoying. Because if you don't care about what they care about, there is a judgment. There is this subliminal judgment, almost as though they're belittling you, or they are looking at you as though you are inferior just because you don't care about what they care about. When I didn't go to my grandma's funeral, I felt the judgment come from certain people that gave me a phone call and asked would I go. Hey, I don't have to care about her, nor do I have to show up. She's dead. I remember how she looks like. I'm good. It means nothing to me. I don't have even an ounce of regret because she's gone. And I 100% remember how she looks like. And I don't need to see her corpse and be around a bunch of teary-eyed people. I want to keep growing. I don't need to be around people that are just boo-hooing about the past that's completely unchangeable. Stay stuck there. I want to be over here in the present, moving forward. You can stay back there. I'm good. Like, no, thank you. So, besides that, what they do is they create this idea of you. They seem to not be able to process change, so they attach a label to you. How they last remembered you is almost their permanent label of you. They cannot process. It seems as though their brains cannot process such a significant change. Because they just know you for what you once were, never for who you become. And they will always say that you changed because they lack the capacity to say you've grown. Because in their life, they've seen so little of it. And so, of course, they're going to think you've changed and you switched up. They've never seen anyone grow. They haven't grown. So they will attach a label onto you permanently. And it's so annoying because let's say I go and I meet family. They say, oh, well, you don't talk how you once used to. Yeah, I know. When I was younger, I spoke differently. When I came back from the military, I spoke differently. And I worked really hard to change that so that I could speak in a manner that I truly think is authentic, which is this. And I've worked hard to change that. But they still attach that label to me. I have no desire to be around there. I have no desire to be around people that lack the brain power to acknowledge change and growth. And I also don't want to be around people that attach labels to me. I don't want you to attach that label to me. And I'm giving you reason not to, but it seems as though you can't get out of that paradigm that you've set for me. And so I will just avoid you in general. So, all that to say, I don't think blood means anything. At all. Okay. Somewhere in our genetic makeup, there may be a similarity. Congratulations. You didn't grow up with me. I didn't grow up with you. If I was down to my last penny and I needed you to help, who's to say you would? You're going to look out for your life. I would make a sacrifice for people I love. I'd give them my all because I've done that already. And that's how I love. Not everyone loves like that. Definitely not family because they're out for their own good. They look out for themselves. They have their own life. Well, but then is that really loyalty? Do you really love me? A mother is the best form of love. A mother that loves her child is almost the best form of love because a mother will bleed and give her all. That to me is the purest form, most authentic form of love. And that is a love that my mother gave me so that I can give to other people that I care about. Her spirit, even when she dies, her spirit will live on through the love that I give people, to the love that I give to people that I care about. That's how profound that love was. And I never saw that in any one of my family members. To me, at least. I never saw that. And I'm extremely observant. I watch. I pay attention. And they'll just say, oh, you're young, Thompson. Don't worry, you'll grow up one day. Hey, just because when you were 24 and you were a knucklehead doesn't necessarily mean that I was like you when you were 24. And so that's a form of projection too, right? Like, you're young. Well, I remember when I was 24. Yeah, do you? Don't compare me to 24-year-old you. We are nothing similar. You have no idea. I don't think like 24-year-old you thought. I don't act, walk, and desire what 24-year-old you wants. So don't assume that just because of my age, I haven't grown and I still have growing to do. I understand that, hey, you'll be 90 years old still growing. It never stops. That I understand. But they don't see that. They just see, well, when I was 24, a comparison to themselves. And I hate that comparison because I'm nothing like you. Get away. Nor do I want to be anything like you. There's not a single family member that I want to be like. And I see all of them, all my cousins. There's not a single one that I want to be like. The only person that I would want to be like is my brother. So that's why I still have respect for him as a man. He sacrifices for his own. He gives his all for his family. He makes sacrifices for blood. That's loyalty. And that's the one thing I respect about him. I respect his warrior spirit to get things done, to be there, to be the beacon of hope, the pillar of strength. But I also don't respect his lack of faith and this crippling fear that he has that he tried to embed onto me, telling me to be secure and do it for the benefits. I'll never forget those moments. And you can't really switch that up. The belief was there once I started doing. The belief wasn't there when I haven't done anything. Before the accolades, before the accomplishment, the belief wasn't there. It was always, I'll always support you, but it's not like I believe in you. But then once I started producing the results, now everyone believes in me. Now you guys see. So I made a conscious decision. All that to say, I made a conscious decision to, I'm pretty sure my kids won't see their family. And I'm okay with that. I'm completely okay with that. Is that selfish on my part? Probably. But I'm sure my kids will have a great deal of fun playing with each other, making friends. Plus, they'll have cousins from my wife's side. That's fine. But my family? No need. Unnecessary. For now. I'm not saying that I might stay this way forever. I'm pretty certain I will. But if in the case that I'm young, ignorant, and foolish, and 15, 20 years down the line, I reconnect and rekindle everything with my family and I just love being around them, perfect. But I don't love being around any family member. I really don't. Every time I'm around my family, it's a chore, it's a burden, and it's so much more draining. It's so much more draining. So, to recap, what I've learned is they don't care about you, they feel obligated to help you. They will talk smack. They think you have to care about what they care about. I also learned blood doesn't mean anything. And 5, it's very difficult for them to process the growth that you've experienced because they attach a fixed label to you. Now, this is not me saying cut all ties with your family, but this is me saying you don't need to feel obligated to stay connected with them. You really don't. The world tells you you should. Other family people that care about family will tell you that. But what really matters in life is that you attach meaning to things that you truly find meaningful. You don't create a sense of meaning because she said it, or he said it, or no, this person said it, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't. What do you care about? You don't have to obey the rules. Break them. That's the whole point. Rules are meant to be broken. The only rule is there are no rules. You don't need to listen to the society programming and the culture norms about how you need to be with family. It doesn't matter. Nor do you have to be like them. If you dream big, step away from anyone that doesn't dream as big. They will rip you down. Their mediocrity will try with all its will and might to pull your exceptional potential, successfully, beautifully inherited traits down with them. You don't need that energy in your life. I definitely didn't. I don't share anything with anyone no more. From now on, I made that conscious decision. Even if my brother calls me, I don't share nothing with him anymore. I never will. Because he screwed that up. Not like the world revolves around me and he may care that much. But there's this beautiful saying, not even a saying, but there's a story of someone who had daddy issues like myself, right? And well, when he became successful, his father was like, I'm sorry. And he said, hey, you know when you make it and you thank everyone, you're not going to be on my list of thanks. And he's like, we'll see how long that lasts. This is Hormozy's story, by the way, and I don't want to butcher it because it's a powerful, impactful story. But I agree. Seriously. I really do. You don't have to thank people and you don't have to do this. Okay, they played their part for a season and a time in your life, and that was cool. Step away from people that do more harm than good. Just because they've done something good in the past doesn't mean that they are necessarily good for you. My brother did a lot of things for me in the past. He was there on the phone with me late at night when my parents were arguing and people were just screaming and it's a bunch of crazy nonsense. He was there. He looked out for me. He would drive and take me to school sometimes. He would get snacks for me. But as I got older, I wanted more out of my life. And I didn't see how he would directly assist me in achieving that, nor did I feel the need to intertwine with that and create a connection in a relationship. Because if anything, it felt more damaging because he would do subliminal things. And, the reason I always talk about psychology is because I had to diagnose myself and become some sort of practical psychologist to figure out the inner workings of my mind and why I behave a certain way so that I don't just am blinded. I know to a degree I have a very self-centered way of thinking, but it's because I am so adamant on getting to where I want to be. I'm so adamant on my goals. I'm so hell-bent on achieving my goals so that my future family can prosper instead of suffer. And I can be a controlling factor. That's a controlling factor. It's me. That's a controllable. So much so that, yes, I am self-centered. Anything that doesn't help my goals, bye. And will I regret in the future? Who knows? But right now, I definitely don't regret making that decision. But I pick up so many subliminal cues from people, especially like my blood brother, for example, that makes me just want to step away. And I don't mention it to him. I talk to you guys. Because if you guys can learn from my mistakes or my failures and my lessons so that you don't have to feel how I felt, even better. Again, this isn't me convincing you to step away from family and never be kind to them. And no, I'm saying you don't need to follow any type of programming or expectations that's set upon you by society or current family members. Be you. And hey, if you care about family, cool, keep caring about family. More power to you. So, all that to say, family, no, I'll pass on the family. I'll pass. No thanks. But that's just me. If you're in the same boat, I get it. I really do. If you've been the black sheep, if you've been in any position similar, I get it. I'm rooting for you. Win. And if you're going to use your family as fuel because you're so angered, hey, use it. Use what you got. I did for a long time. I was so angry at all of them that it was my fuel that helped me push through barriers that I didn't even know I could push through. Use what you got. Just remember that they don't really care that much about you. Meaning they have their own lives. They're not always focusing on you. They don't go to sleep thinking about you the way you think about them. They don't wake up thinking about you the way you think about them. They have their own lives, their own problems, their own bills. Not just family, but everyone in the world. So don't really do things for their validation or do things for them or because of them. Do it for you. You don't need to center everything around them like I did. That was a mistake I made. Everything I did was centered around them. And that's when I realized, wow, I am literally trying to win, to prove my brother, my mother, my father, my aunt, and all of my uncles and my cousins wrong. So I'm living for them. So they have control over my life. How pitiful. That's when I made the change. So if you can avoid one thing, it is you just use the anger as a fuel, but don't do everything for them to prove them wrong. Do it for you. And in doing so, you'll just win so big that they'll always compare themselves to you. Always. Maybe not all the time, but they'll be there. They'll just watch you keep growing and, hey, keep growing. Sometimes you outgrow people. You really do. And there are moments where they'll try to bring you down because, whoa, slow down, Mr. Big Shot. You're not better than me. Hey, you're right. I'm not better than you. I just don't want to be around you. Bye. Preserve your energy. Time and your energy is very important. Put it towards things that really mean something to you. Put it towards tasks that will help you get one step closer to your goals. No need to delegate any time or energy towards people that you don't want to be like. And there's definitely no need to impress them if you don't want to be like them in any way, shape, or form. There's nothing worse than trying to impress people that you don't want to live like. If they live a life that you don't want to live, if they act how you don't want to act, why is there a need to impress them? For what? Do it for you. Future you. Your future family, your future son and daughter, your future wife or husband. Do it for you. Good luck. That's all I got.